Okay, ji. So, students, we have discussed today, we have started our discussion from the stakeholders and shareholders. Who are the shareholders? To understand the shareholders, we need to understand stakeholders. In the stakeholders, we are having different type of the stakeholders we are having. And some of the stakeholders are known as, like we have defined the stakeholders as those parties who can influence or who can be influenced by the organization policies or their decisions. Second thing is that we have covered, it is about the categorization of the stakeholders. We can categorize them into three main groups. It can be internal, it can be external, and it can be connected. Internal stakeholders are those who are within the company, and they can be employees of the company, they can be the managers of the company. External stakeholders are those who do not have any contractual relationship and they are external to the company. They are outside of the company, in other words. And we can say NGO is there, society is there, and government is there. Then we are having connected stakeholders. Connected stakeholders are those who are having contractual relationship with your business, and they can be considered as customers, finance providers, suppliers, and shareholders. Then we have discussed about the different type of their interests. What are the main interests of the employees? The employees are interested in getting the information from the business about salaries, about their job security, about their bonuses or incentives. Then we have discussed about managers. Managers, they are concerned about bonuses, salaries, status, and incentives. Government, they are interested in getting the information about how many new jobs the business is opening for the people, for the citizens. Then they are also understanding, they want to understand about how many the compliances you are doing. Are you in breach of laws and regulations or not? Are you paying the tax on time or not? NGOs, they look into whether you are violating any child labor laws, equal opportunity laws, women rights, pollution, etc., etc. Then society, they are concerned about new jobs, they are concerned about health and safety. Then customers, they are interested in knowing about price of the good, discounts, warranties, guarantees. They are concerned about after sales services. Finance providers, they are concerned about like when they are providing you the loan or finance, like the banks, they are considered as finance providers. So they are concerned about on-time payment or whether there are any chances of defaults or not. Then suppliers, who are the suppliers? Suppliers are those parties who give you the supply of raw material or any item which you need for the business to run. There's a supplier. And usually they give you supply on credit basis. On which basis? Credit basis. That's why we call them as suppliers. Like they are concerned about payment on time. They're concerned about like, you give them repeat business. Then shareholders are interested in getting more dividends, less risk, growth of their investment. Then we have discussed three, wealth maximization. What is the main interest of the shareholders? Wealth maximization. And wealth maximization can be understood with the help of three things. In wealth maximization, you want to get more dividends or more return or more share of the profit. Second is low risk. Any shareholder, when they invest, they want to get low risk basically. And the last one is growth of investments. They want to grow their investments. If today I invest 50,000, I want it to become 100,000 or more than 100,000. Finding as much as I can grow my invest. Then we have discussed about conflict of stakeholders' interest. Sometimes if you try to satisfy one stakeholder, the other get dissatisfied. If you try to satisfy the third one, the fourth one get dissatisfied. So, for example, like if you're paying the high bonuses to the employees, so the shareholders will not be happy with this because we are using their money to pay them the bonuses. Then we can use to handle this conflict of interest by using the Mendelow's mapping model, or it is also called as stakeholders mapping model. Sometime in the books you will find it is written with stakeholders and sometime it is written with Mendelow's mapping model. According to this model, we are having two axes. On one axis we take level of powers, and on other side we take level of interest. Level of power means how they are influential, how much they are influential, and we are having two extremes of this. It can be low, it can be high. So these are the two extremes, low and high. And then we have seen like there is stakeholders, interest is there. Sometimes the stakeholders are very interested in what you are doing, and sometimes they have the low level of interest. If the stakeholders are having high powers, high interest, we call them as key players. For example, like there are major institutional investors, those who have invested big sum in the business, so we call them as key players. These stakeholders are considered as key players, and we have to satisfy their needs and wants, and they will be having first priority. Then the second one is keep satisfied. We have to keep satisfied these kind of the stakeholders. For example, like in this stakeholders, we can put some government or the regulators. They are having high level of power, but sometimes they have low interest. Keep informed are those people, we keep them informed. Like it can be employees, as they are having low powers, but they are having high level of interest. High power, low interest, we call them as, high interest, low power, we call them as keep informed. Like the NGOs employees. Then we have minimal effort, like these are the small investors. They have not invested big money, very, very small amount. For example, one share they have purchased in the company. They have invested 1,000, 2,000 rupees. They are the minimal effort. And these two most important areas, most important stakeholders are key players and keep satisfied. Because if tomorrow you don't keep the stakeholders satisfied, whether these are key players or keep satisfied, so they can collaborate with each other and they can create problem for the business. Okay, so we have to go like this. If we are satisfied, so we will first satisfy this, then we'll go to the, and then we will go like this. Okay, so we need to understand the needs and the wants of the stakeholders, and then we will categorize them as. Now students, after that, in the chapter number 1, he is discussing about principal-agent relationship. Principal-agent relationship. This is the topic we are having. Principal-agent relationship. What is the meaning of principal-agent relationship, or you can also understand this with the help of principal agency. You can also consider as principal agent problems or issues. Okay ji? Okay. So we are having principal agent relationship we are discussing here. What is the meaning of principal agent relationship, students? First of all, we need to understand who are the principal, what is the meaning of terminologies. Who is principal, who is agent? Please. You can be seated, but don't create any problem. Principal are those people who are the investors, owners. In accounting or in business, we say owners, legal owners of the company are known as principal. It's not Principle. Principle means rules. Principles are rules. It is principal, PAL at the end you will find. Principals are the legal owners of the company, legal owners of the business. And the agents basically are the people who they are the people who work on the behalf of principals, like the management, like the board of directors. We can remember as BOD, board of directors. They are known as management. Fine ji. Student, sometime what happens, like when you are working as a managers or you are working as a agents in the company, your goals are different from the goals of owners. So there is a conflict of goals sometime, and we call this problem as an agency problem. When there are different goals, it is called as agency problem. Agency problem refers to like different goals are there. Student, when we have some managers in the company or when we appoint some managers in the company, we have to make sure that these managers or these agents, they work for the interest of owners. Yes? I am the owner of the company. Let's suppose I invest 1 million rupees in the business. Okay? My interest is, as a legal owner, as a shareholder, what is my interest, main interest? Shareholder wealth maximization. We have just discussed today. What I want to maximize? Shareholders' wealth. I want my wealth is maximized. Agreed? Now students, to run the business, we need principal and we need also the owners. So just give me 1 minute. Okay students, so till now we have discussed about stakeholders. Who are the major stakeholders in the business and what are their interests and what are their needs, we have discussed. We were talking about principal-agent relationship. What is the meaning of principals? Principals are those, basically those owners who have invested the money in the business. They are called as legal owners. What is the word we use with them? Legal owners. They are called as principals. Like at DSP, there are some principals we are having, like the shareholders, investors. So we call them as legal owners of the company. Fine. Second is agents. Who are the agents? Agents are basically the management who is managing the business on the behalf of owners. Now, students, usually the principals cannot be your agents and the agents cannot be your principals. Managers cannot become the owners of the business and the owners cannot become the managers. For example, like students, I invest in the company $1 million, big money, $1 million investment I bring. I am just an investor. It doesn't mean that I can be very good in finance, I can be very good in HR, I can be very good in IT, I can be very good in all the matters which is required in the business to deal with. Agreed? So I appoint as a principal, what I will be appointing? I will be appointing my agents, managers. The manager, for example, I appoint IT manager, I appoint finance manager, I appoint cost and management accountant, I appoint different managers basically. HR manager, tax manager, finance manager, etc., etc., etc. List, detailed list is there. I can appoint agents who will be working on my behalf. They will be managing my business on my behalf. Note it? Because I am just an investor. It is same as like I am just putting the money in the business and I say, okay, this is, you have to manage. I am giving you the money, you have to manage now everything. And we pay them salaries. We pay them bonuses, we pay them incentives. So they are called as agents. Students, sometime when they work, agents and shareholders, principals, sometimes they are having different goals. What they have? Different goals, different interests is there. What is the interest of the shareholder? Wealth maximization. We have just discussed. What is the main objective of principals? Their shareholder wealth maximization. This is main interest. But sometimes these agents, they don't work for the interest of the principals, they work in their own interest. Like I am a manager of the company, I just work for my salaries. I look into my interest. I don't look into the interest of principals. I am maximizing my salary. I am paying myself big bonuses. I am enjoying good lavish lifestyle because I am the director of the company. I am getting a high salary and I want to get more and more bonuses, incentives without doing anything. So I have a principal-agent relationship problems. There is an agency problem, we call this as. What is the word we use? Agency problem. I have written here, agency problem means when the principals are not working for the goals of agents. The agents are not working for the goals of principals. They have to work. Right? And when they don't have this, when they are having an agency problem, it is also called as problem of goal congruence. Problem of goal congruence. C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-C. Congruence. Problem of goal congruence means my interests are different than your interests. Like in my class, what is my interest? What is my goal? To make you pass, na? To help you to pass. Again, what is your goal? To pass the exam. Do we have same goals? Yes, we have the same goals. Na? The goals are in line. And if we don't have the same goals, so it means that we are having a problem of goal congruence. Like the student want to fail and the teacher want to make them pass. Teacher goal is to help the student pass and the student don't come for the classes. So it means that they don't want to pass in the exam. It is called as problem of goal congruence or agency problem. And it is very common, by the way, student. There was a case, by the way, in the past, and it was a very famous company in USA. And the name of the company was Enron. What is the name of the company? Enron. And there is also a movie onto this Enron issue. If you get time, you can go to the YouTube and watch the movie with the English subtitle. You will understand more. And it is about how this company, it was a giant company. It's a big company in USA. And the reason of their failure was a fraud, basically. Clear? And some of you have also studied the paper BA4. In the BA4 also we learned this topic, principal-agent relationship, agency problems. In the Enron case, what was happening, students, the managers, the management, the board of directors, they were declaring that the company is making the profits. They were showing higher and higher profits. But actually the company was not making profit. The company was in losses. But auditors also, they were saying that the company is making profit. Auditors and the management were collaborating with each other. And they were hiding the fact the company was actually in losses, but they were saying the company is making growth. Okay? And suddenly the directors, they were using the money of the shareholders, and the shareholders were putting more money into the business because they were thinking that the business is growing and we will be getting more and more profits. So ultimately what happened, the directors, they took all the money of the shareholders and they ran away. There. So this was a major fraud happened in USA, and this company lost and it failed. And ultimately the business was totally lost, and those investors who have invested big money, they lost their investments. And after that there was an issue, there was a topic which came into the force. It is called as corporate governance. To control this problem, what is the governance we try to put into place? It is known as corporate governance. Corporate governance is basically a guiding principles about how you have to run the business, who can be your principal, who can be your agent, what will be their duties, what will be their roles, what will be their responsibilities. So nowadays the companies have to adopt the corporate governance. It is called as code of corporate governance. What is the word we use with this? Code of corporate governance. It is just like laws and regulations and the policies and the procedures, how you have to run your business. Code of corporate governance, that you will be further learning it in the paper of BA4. BA4 we will learn about it. There is a long section about corporate governance, and we have discussed in the previous semester about BA4, and we have talked about code of corporate governance. That captures the problem of principal-agent relationship. Any question, Ji, so far? So this is the area that we have covered, and as I mentioned to you that we are having a discussion for the topic number 1, chapter number 1. In the code of corporate governance, students, you also have some provisions. Like I was telling you, corporate governance is a framework by which you will manage your business. And you will also be managing the relationship of your shareholders and and directors. Now, some of the points that we discuss in the corporate governance is, one is called as the CEO and the chairman have a separate role. Like as per this governance, we have to just remember the main points. We are actually not discussing the law, we are just discussing the main points. According to the corporate governance, what are the main provisions, main laws about? Like the chairman and the CEO of the company cannot be the same person. Clearly? Then the second is there should be balance of executive directors and non-executive directors. Now, who are the executive directors and who are the non-executive directors? We have to understand it. Student, there are some directors in the company who manage the business on day-to-day basis. We call this as executive directors. Executive directors are same as like the employees of the company. They manage the business on the behalf of investors and they are involved in day-to-day operations of the company. We call them as executive directors. And there are non-executive directors which are not basically involved in management of the company. They oversee the executive directors working. So you can say that the non-executive directors are looking the decisions of the executive directors, or they oversee or they supervise executive directors. And these non-executive directors are independent directors of the company. Clear? The third provision of the corporate governance is nomination committee, remuneration committee. Remuneration committee is basically like, students, when you decide the salaries of your managers. So who will decide the salary of the managers or the management? Remuneration committee. Directors cannot decide their own salary. Find it. Who will be deciding their salary? The complete remuneration committee will decide. The next one is nomination committee. Nomination committee decide who will become executive directors, who will become non-executive, who is eligible to become directors in the company. Nomination. Then audit committee. Audit committee basically do the audit. They check whether we are doing the proper audit in the company. Are we preparing the accounts properly? And they also deal with the matters of auditors. When the auditors come in the business, so they basically deal with the audit issues in the company. Directors are responsible for the long-term strategy of the company. As per the provision, the directors are involved in making the planning and they are making the strategy of the company. Fine. Owners cannot involve. Directors will be there. Directors are responsible for designing and implementing a good system of internal controls. Internal controls, what is the meaning of internal control? Internal controls are made to cater the problem of frauds. Internal control means like check you are having some control procedures. Like there is no error, there is no mistakes, there is no frauds in the business. We call this as internal controls. Okay, so there are 5 or 6 points you are having into this corporate governance. One is about the role of directors. Second one is about the type of the directors. Third one is about the salary package. Because after the issue of Enron, these were the major problems. Directors were, because they were the director of the company and they were enjoying very luxury lifestyle. Some of the directors were having their own private jet. In US it is very common. If you are the director of the company, you can buy your own aircraft, private jet. Fine. And then you can have your own helicopter. Fine. So they were enjoying the high status on the basis of the money of the shareholders. Shareholders, they were innocent people. They were bringing the investment and you were using the money and you were paying yourself a very high salary. And after this issue, we decided that remuneration committee will decide your salary. There will be audit committee, and audit committee will be independent committee who will do the audit. Fine. Then there will be who will become auditor, who will become your directors. Nomination committee will decide. You cannot decide to become your own director of the company. So I would advise you, suggest you you can watch the movie on the issue of Enron, and you will learn about it. It's a very interesting, particularly for the finance professionals or those who follow the accounting qualification. So they watch this movie and they will learn about it, how actually the fraud happened. And there are also many movies we are having on YouTube which is about financial crimes. Which crimes? Financial crimes, like how the financial crimes happen and how the people steal the money from your bank accounts. And nowadays we are having also one of the stealing methodology which it is now being followed up. It is called as digital currency. What we call it as? Digital currency. And one of your currency is a paper currency. It is plastic currency, plastic cards. Plastic card is a form of, like, any time your money can be taken up by your bank accounts. Okay. So I will not go in detail about it, but when we teach at a higher level, so digital currency, like you are having bitcoins nowadays. Okay. So it is not regulated currency, by the way. It's not regulated one. The paper currency is regulated by the state bank. They can print the new notes, they can print the new coins, but the digital currency somewhere, it is electronic currency which is dead online, internet, with the help of internet. And on internet there are many fraudsters, they can steal your information and you can be in trouble. That's why when we use our credit card on the internet, we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. Fine. So there are many problems that we face on the internet. Where there is so many opportunities, there are also many threats for using the internet technology and all that. Now we are having 5G. 5G is also very fast internet, and there is also the cases like some people, they have this mindset that this corona thing or COVID-19 is as a result of 5G network, because it's going to be affecting your body very badly. It affects your lungs basically. 5G technology. And America is running after the 5G, and China, they are running after the 5G technology. I don't know about India, but in Pakistan they are also putting some 5G towers. Now many people are voicing out in America. They are protesting that this 5G technology should not be used, and that's why the governments are putting us in, they are keeping us at home. They are spreading this rumor of COVID-19. And they want to install 5G towers. If you know about it, in UK, some people over there, they have burned the 5G towers. What did it? They have burned the 5G towers because they know this is very dangerous kind of the technology that can affect the human body, because so many ways can destroy you very badly. So, I don't know. But in Pakistan they are installing the 5G network, but it should be banned, because by 5G, maybe you have noticed that they are putting the protocols like you have to keep 1.5 meter distance. 5G network will be helping to do the face reading. To basically, it can also use to monitor your temperature, body temperature. It can also monitor your movement. Clearly. Now when there is a crowd, 5G does not work very well. So that's why what they are doing, they are saying keep the distance of 1.5 meters so that they can easily do the face reading. Like in China, if you go, you will find that they have put some cameras which can read your temperature, which can also read your eye, they can do the face impressions they can take. And somewhere 5G is going to basically monitor each and every person details. We can use the 5G technology in such a way like we can scan the whole person, like we can have all the database about a particular person. And that's why your ID cards, if you know about it, the ID card, which is the plastic ID card or the digital ID card you are having, you don't know about it, your database of your IDs is also kept in USA. The US has access of where Inam Rahim is working. They know about the data of the Inam Rahim. So the 5G is somewhere going to affect the database, like they are trying to keep the data of every person. And behind it also there is a Microsoft owner, Bill Gates. Okay. So there are many things which is going to change the life of the humans very, very soon after the 5G technology. But it has a very, very harmful kind of the technology we are having. And there might be many diseases which will be coming up because of this 5G technology. So may God protect all of us from these issues of this what they want to put into place, the secrecy. There will not be any secrecy of the person. Like you are saying that I want to keep some information secret. On Facebook, every information is available. Everybody can get information about you. And most of the time you are the person who is telling about your information. Where do you live, what is your hobbies. Facebook is the best thing. You have all your, where you go, it track you. Even you are having the GPS system, your location on your mobile, they can keep a record of your history. What is the last minute where you were. It means that there is nothing hidden from you. So that's why you have to turn your mobile, you have to keep your mobile data off. And you also have to, there is an app on the Android phone, there is a setting you can do. Without your permission, the mobile cannot track your movement. Even how many steps you have taken, they can learn about it. Okay, from the Android technology. So we have to be careful. And this is all about we have to be familiar with what is happening in the world. Okay, ji. So this chapter number 1 is finished, and we have discussed the area of the chapter number 1 from BA 1. So students, I would advise you, there is some numerical calculation, but it is too early to talk about this numerical calculation. When we are measuring the performance of the company, so what are the indicators we use? We have just started with the discussion, so it's too early to discuss about it. So this is all for BA1 students, and now here we take a break of 10 minutes to 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes we are starting with a new paper that is called as BA2. Fine, it is cost and management account. So we'll finish around 12:30. We'll be finishing our class. Okay? Take a break of 15 minutes.
BA2 we already did.
BA2 you want to take or you don't want to take, so it is up to you.
I think we already did it.
You already did it? You have taken the classes, but if you want to revise, you can sit in the class.
When will be reported?
When will be finishing it?
No, the
So
project
there is one chapter already.
You can cover this in the class.
Not today.
No, we are just starting today. Okay, take a break of 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes break, we can start our discussion.
So before we finish BA2 and BA4.
We are giving BA1.
No, before we did BA2.
BA1, BA2, we can
The first we start with
You have already completed BA1, BA2 and BA4. BA4, but you didn't sit for any exam.
Go back again.
BA4 we are not offering in this semester. We are starting with BA1 and BA2. Okay, BA1 you have studied last time. You have not taken it completely.
Yes, we can add me.
That's why you have to basically take a you have to talk to Imran.